Okay, even your most ardent critic will say, Esther, that you really performed well. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
29,000 plus votes.
28,000.
There you go. It was a good show.
In 4 weeks.
Right. You don't even live in Embakasi. You
No.
couldn't even vote in Embakasi.
No, but I think I already have a name. So anywhere in the country that I would stand, I would need very little to market myself. But I went into Embakasi, I hit the ground, I got to know the people. And you know what's so beautiful about having got the 27,000 votes is without paying anyone. You know, I conducted rallies, I did road shows, I met communities, I shared my vision, I printed leaflets. I went a bit door to door. Embakasi is too big.
And it was your first time ever?
And it was my first time trying to go for a member of parliament. I learnt a lot about our character as Kenyans. My goodness, I mean, we're almost genetically dishonest. You know, it's amazing. I was shocked.
Explain.
No, I was shocked at, I don't know whether it's because, I don't even think it's because we're poor. Because it's not the poor that come to exploit. It seems like Kenyans have just gotten so greedy, and where there is an opportunity to make money, no matter, without a principle, without an ethic, without a moral value, they will be there. And I met so many different kinds of people. And for the politician that tells me this is normal, this is normal, this is how Kenyans behave. But for me, as adults, we're over 18, we're raising the next generation. If we don't know how to be honest, we have a problem. In Embakasi, we have two things that are really predominant. We have a lot of churches. I mean, religion is like the big thing in Embakasi. And we have a lot of bars. So alcohol, drugs, wasted lifestyle is a lot.
Which is an irony right there.
Yeah, where you have the two together.
Yeah.
But what was so amazing is I went to a few churches, and I also tried to go to the smaller churches. Now, it was terrible for me once when I was called by about 50 church leaders, so-called non-denominational church leaders. And they come to you and they say, you know what, we believe in you, we want change for our people, and we really want to help you out. And for us to help you out, each of us pastors will need about 20,000. So I'm sitting there and I'm calculating and I'm thinking, why would I need to pay you 20,000 as a church leader to go and tell your congregation that you need to vote for a good leader, a person who can bring development so that we can actually be in a position to deliver souls to heaven? Do you know, for me, when you have poverty, you have the souls being lost, because you go so deep into the rot of the world that even the preacher talking to you about delivering you to heaven is not going to work, because you're so down. And I think if we can alleviate, remove poverty from our country, or even, you know, reduce it, then you're able to have a lot more people that will be able to listen to God this and God that, and spiritual nourishment. Because when you're suffering, if you've just come out from an ordeal where you've been raped, or you've been an absolute drug victim, the last thing you really want to hear is God. Because you look at your life, or if you've lost a loved one in a very tragic manner, the last thing you want to believe is that there is a God, because that's the first thing you say, where is God? I'm going through all this. So I think poverty in itself defeats morality.
Were you going to change that, Esther, in Embakasi? Do you think you were going to change those attitudes?
Look, let me tell you, in 4 weeks, I met a lot of things that I thought, my goodness. Let me tell you something, Jeff. If we want to deal with poverty in Kenya, we're going to have to deal with our own principles as a people. You know, Kenyans, our social fabric, our beliefs, our standards have gotten so low that we are so unprincipled. Everybody's out to do somebody in for a reason. I mean, for Martha and Uhuru, my favorite friends in parliament, they went, and Kalonzo, who wants to be president, my goodness, I have no respect for him at this point. These are people who went to Embakasi and campaigned for somebody that should be in jail and not parliament. All right? And for me, it was very nice yesterday when I met JB Kilimo, and I met Cecil Mbarire, and I met Wavinya. And a lot of other people. I've met Mwangi Kinjuri and Mungatana. And Kabando. These are people that never hit the ground in Embakasi because they were not willing to mislead a community.
So what are you saying, that the MP now should be in jail? Is that what you're saying?
Let me tell you something. I worked with him when he was deputy mayor. He is no saint. He is part and parcel of all the corruption in City Hall. He's the reason why the water company was not able to perform. And I'm sure if you had Kabando here, he will tell you that. The problem with Kenyans is we seem to want to butter everybody up and stay friendly with everyone. And this is where I get into trouble, because I'm not willing to pretend that you are perfect just because you are Mweshimiwa or you are somebody I need, or because I don't want to ruffle the PNU feathers, or I don't want to ruffle government, because there's this perception that we need to do these things this way because this is what government wants. I'm not an enemy of the state, but if I go to a police station or if I go to a government office, people have this impression that, oh, you know, we need to fix her because government is not liking her. But why shouldn't government like me? Kibaki gave me an award, an OGW. I have said things that I stand by on the Kibaki administration. I'm not ashamed of it. My mother once said to me that the people who love you are the people who are honest with you. And I mean, if I ever had an opportunity again to talk to the president, I would tell him that your people are letting you down. There are people that he has in government that are not doing their jobs.
You know he watches the show?
I hope so.
So
yeah,
I
hope so. Because look, he might have the good intentions, but he's got people around him. He said, I want to have a government of clean hands. Let the guy be proved innocent in all his millions of cases before you send him to parliament. You know, I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Our country cannot afford any more bad leaders. Our country cannot afford somebody who was in the council and was given 20 million in last up money and had projects that are not on the ground going now to handle 200 million of CDF. I mean, are we wacko or something?
Are we wacko or something? I want to speak more about that, Esther. And also, would you stand somewhere else? Would you take a nomination somewhere else? Well, I'll ask you that after the break. First, we'll take a break. My guest today is someone who just refuses to say no. She will not give up, keeps on fighting, will not give up the fight. She is no doubt one person to look out for in the future. I'm sure with her first time trying Embakasi, she hasn't given that field up. We're talking about Esther Modani Rosana. You still have Modani, right? Still
Modani.
Okay, still Modani Rosana Passaris. And you are watching Capital Talk only on the award-winning station K24. We are back in a moment.